telling her truth, and it just helps, people. AJ, you want to share something with
Yes. Good evening, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome to the Artist Connection on Let's Talk Radio. Today, we got a beautiful show going on. I'm Lady K Day and my fellow guest host, Mr. Elu Johnson. We're going to be doing a thing celebrating fathers, all the daddies up in here. So, we have a beautiful show ready for y'all. Elu.
hey, how y'all doing there? All the fathers, all the brothers in today. We're gonna have a lot of people gonna be checking in, seeing what we're talking about. So I just want to make sure everybody is, feeling fluid and enjoying yourself. We're gonna be touching on some sensitive subject and some serious subjects. So I just want it to be fun though, and all about the poetry, the art, and the love. We're talking about fatherhood.
That sounds amazing to me. So today we have Mr. Loving Words, Mr. James Coates. We've got a cold piece of work on here, who is surely a cold piece of work. We got Mr. AJ1, Mr. Mo Flows, myself again. I'm Lady K Day. I'm going to bring in the femininity tonight. But this is a beautiful episode right here. It's beautiful because we need you all. We need you. You are so necessary to, number one, life, but who we become as human beings. Fathers set that pace, they set that in stone, whether for the negative or the positive. So I want to really touch on all the aspects of fatherhood tonight because there's so many layers, there's so many things to it, and the way that you contribute is so essential to the way the world operates and revolves. So I think let's start with James. How you doing tonight?
Good. I'm doing wonderful today, this evening. Glad to be here. Did a lot of teaching earlier today. So now I get to share some poetry.
That's right. So if anybody is not familiar, Mr. J.E. Coates, Mr. Loving Words is a poet. He's an author of, is it 4 books now?
Mm-hmm.
4 amazing books. We've got let's hear about some of these other projects you be doing, because you be out here all the time, and you're a professor, father.
Yeah, so I teach with a couple of different organizations, including the Inlandia Institute, Community Literature Initiative, co-teach the alumni class that helps people publish books. I also teach in San Bernardino School District, poetry and art in the after school program with Arts Connection. And I teach with California Poets in Schools now as well. So a lot of teaching going on. I love it. And I also share my poetry. So as you mentioned, I have 4 collections out. I have 3 that are not published yet that I'm still working with. And I read and write every day. So I love to just create and to share that with the community.
It's so beautiful. It's really wonderful. Really quick before you get into sharing a piece with us, can you touch a little bit on teaching when it comes to fatherhood? Because so many of the lessons we learn come from our fathers or our fathers not being there. Those are the lessons that are so essential. Can you talk a little bit about that, about what it means to be a father and a teacher in whatever way that means to you?
It is very interesting because having the experience of being a father and raising a child at these different age groups, I kind of know what some of the students are going through. as I teach high school, middle school, elementary, remembering where my son was at that particular point, and also the challenge of students coming out of the pandemic, right? So I have high schoolers right now that are very shy, very introverted, because they miss several years of that interaction, networking, social connection. So being mindful of not pushing too much, but giving them room to be vulnerable and to open up and to share their voices. So I feel like that comes from seeing that happen in my own son during the pandemic, and him kind of being introverted, shy, not really having that exposure to other teens his age.
And that's such a fine line, because it's like giving them room to be vulnerable and express those feelings. And then where do we also be the person that is the initiator of pushing them a little bit and allowing them to stretch, but in a safe environment where it's like, I don't want you to be in your comfort zone too much, because then you won't grow. And how do you facilitate that? But then also like, but this is your feelings, this is what you're going through, and I'm gonna let you do that as well, and let me guide you through that process.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that oftentimes in education we don't have black male figures in the classroom that like are able to just one provide representation, and two let the students know that it's okay to be educated, it's okay to like reading and art and writing, and that being creative is a masculine thing, and being able to be who they are, be authentic, is also a display of masculinity, healthy masculinity.
Yes, Elu, we're gonna come back to that because I've heard you touch on that subject before. I know you know what so we're gonna get there. But James, let's hear some of that beautiful poetry.
All right, so this piece is out of Benighted Mad Dreams, which is my most recent collection published with World Stage Press, and it's about a father and a son. It's called Hitting the Links. Father and son learn to hit golf balls, both swing and miss the same way. Sharing this instant isn't about golf. It's about spending time together. A novel activity where dad does not know it all and son does not have to be the listening student. On the green, they joke and laugh, boisterous, but mostly smile, a replicated grin, all teeth. Sons won't always be little children. Fathers can't stay until the end of time. In moments like these, there is no denying the power of a father's presence. I watch an atmosphere of love absorbed in pores and radiating out of faces. They celebrate each other's progress, leaving encouraging words like tease all over the course. Only $25 and some lost golf balls, cemented memories, a cherished influence. The absent father stereotype, a crumbling deceit. This is the often hidden joy, a camouflaged tender, revealed beneath masculine mass society presents. Yet every day I see Black fathers being so much more than the world gives them credit for. You could see it too if you knew where to look. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so
Man,
much for that piece.
that's what I'm talking
Yes.
about. That's
Say
what
that.
I'm talking about. Man.
Thank you. Thank you.
When you embody and you talk about golf, that's something that's dear to me. I always wanted to golf. But when you have a father that's not interested in sports, He's interested in making money and working and stuff like that. That right there is like the concrete alone. Thinking about what that means, bro. I love that, James. Thanks, man. I really do. All right, bringing up to the mic, Brother Cole.
Peace. Good evening. Also, as an educator, especially as a Black male educator, it's a lot about, like, I taught history and I taught PE. In the schools, we are more than just teachers. We are police. We are mentors. We are the person who can get the job done so other teachers send their kids to us, because we know how to build relationships with the students. So it's more than just having presence. A lot of my teaching years, I wasn't allowed to teach because I was disciplined. And then I had to like step back from the discipline and be like, you're getting paid what I'm getting paid. You can do the same job. So it's a lot that goes along with it. But there are some things too that we have to talk about. And I have this issue. Number one, because fathers are the least respected in America. We have especially Black male fathers. I have this joke between a couple of father friends of mine, and we say Mother's Day will always be Mother's Day, but Father's Day will soon be non-gender day. And so it's that type of energy. I hate when I see on Father's Day women say, I'm the mother and the father. You never hear men say that. You never hear a man say that. It's never going to happen, whether he's single father or not. You can't be the man, you're a woman, and you have to teach from that perspective. Also, when you look at percentages, and I'm always hated when I say this, but the percentages have changed now, but when they were, when I was following them, it said 65% of women are single mothers. It was like 75% of teachers in school are women. So where are we getting this toxic masculinity from? Who's teaching these boys if the men aren't around? And so we use this word and this saying a lot, and but where is it coming from? And that's the issue. It's also another thing too, that men need to hold men accountable, and that's true. But we also need to hold our mothers accountable also. On Mother's Day, you don't never see on anywhere or hear somebody say Happy Mother's Day to the mothers that's there. You don't hear that. Like, they just get it. And a question I pose is, is a toxic mother worse than an absent father? And that's something we don't talk about. And then, just seeing the boys in school. My son in school, seeing other boys in school, and you can tell when the father's not present or a male presence isn't there. When the male presence is there, most boys don't buck against the authority. But when a male presence is not there, that's when you get the pushback. That's when you get and it's, I'm gonna go call my mama. We'll call her. I don't mind you doing that. And then you see where the child get it from when the parent comes to the school. So it's a lot of things that's involved with that we don't talk about in it, because we don't bash moms. You bash a mom, you cancel. And but dads get it every day. So I know I started heavy, but we can go
need that. We need that,
bro. You coming with fire.
That's what we're here for.
You coming with some real facts right there, brother.
And we just got to realize this. I always go back to, it takes a village. Even if you're not a father, even if you're not a mom, you are somebody's aunt and uncle. You are somebody's parent. You are somebody's there. So let's start correcting and being an example. And that's not always easy. We always fail. I'm not perfect. And so, but start just being that example for our community. At the end of all of my shows, or in my shows, I always say, Stop networking and build relationships. And that's especially with our youth. So we just gotta do better as a community, period. And the community is like-minded people. Doesn't matter where you live.
Well, I definitely want to hear one of them cold pieces, brother.
Got you. So I wrote this in a workshop years ago. I have an updated version, but my son, because I wrote it for him, he won't let me do the updated version. He said the original version is what I wrote for him and for his, like, to his heart. So I'm a cold piece. The poetry community deemed my son a cool piece. And eventually one day he said he wanted to battle for the name of cold piece, but I told him he don't want that smoke. Because I'm gonna talk about his mama, his granny, everything. And he ain't ready for that. But it's called A Letter to My Son. Dear Cool Piece, in 11 years and 9 days, you'll be 17. Graduating high school and well-versed on the rules of this game called life. Practice now. Get your ritual down on how you have to roll the dice. You will always need doubles so you can shoot up the ladder. See, America ain't no candy land for African. This field has cavities filled with casualties, so be careful, because trouble will always try to find you. Its trivial pursuit is crazy. They want to catch you playing solitary, but sorry, I will never allow it. You are a part of a village, and we practice I declare war. So you will learn chess, and that will teach you logistics, special weapons, and tactics, and rigorous courses on hand-to-hand combat. I know you don't understand now that Jax helps build your hand and eye coordination. In this war, someone may get wounded, so it's a must that you be precise with tweezers for operation. Concentration is a necessity. Heads down, thumbs up allows you to feel energy. You risk your divinity not knowing who your ancestors are. See, they set the bar. And I will never leave you in limbo. You are in line with your lineage, so follow the leader. And this is why Daddy will never just let you win. You have to practice and be disciplined so that you can understand I'm just preparing you for this world that we live in. I love you. Nakupenda. Sign, Big Tall Daddy. Thank you.
Yeah! Wow. Only a real father know all those
down right
games
off the
right
gate.
there, bro. I like all the wordplay off those games. Oh, wow. That's dope, bro. That's dope. That's one of the cold pieces right there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And for the honesty, for the honesty of the things that we need to hear, because how are we going to work on things if we don't address them in the right way? You know, and it's like certain things that are taboo. You know, you made me think of what you were speaking on about mothers and women and how there's so much toxicity when it comes to women, because a lot of times as women, we are operating from our trauma and our scars instead of where we want to go. We're still chained to what's behind, and we're operating off of those emotions. And it creates, I've always said, a woman can either make or break her children, her family, a household, the world. We have that power. And I think when we're hurt, we feel like we are not powerful. And then we operate in that energy. And it's just, it affects so much. So thank you for what you said. Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge the other woman in the room tonight. You came in a little bit after, so Egyptian Princess. I haven't met you, but I've seen you online, and it's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. Good. I'm so excited to be here, and it's a pleasure to meet you finally. Yes, I've seen you online too.
Hey, girl.
Yes.
And I think it's wonderful to have women in this conversation, because you all are treasured and you are a part of us. And so we need to be, it couldn't be all men. Like, we have to have this interaction where we're giving and we're learning from each other and we're building each other up. Like, you need us just as much as we need you. And we need to, we have no problem pointing the finger, but we really need that from you, because you're giving it to us from a loving place. And it's not always seen, especially in our community. It's not always seen when we're hit with the truth. People take things personally and they don't hear it. a wall goes up, because it's like, I'm not perfect. What? Like, but I'm doing all this. I'm drained from it. How could I not be the hero in the story? But if one of us is the hero, one of us is not the hero. And that's not operating from the same team and the same front. We're on the same team. And if one of us is down and one of us is up, then we all losing. And that means our children ultimately are losing. So I'm so happy to have, hey Drea.
Hey y'all.
My
I
love.
just jumped on it.
Yes.
And thank everybody for being here tonight. Hey teacher, the loving words, Cold Peace, Elu, AJ, Egyptian Princess, and Moflo. I heard the first part of the conversation. I really enjoyed it. I think it's very important to talk about fatherhood and how important it is to us in this society, especially having a father figure in our home, in our schools, in our communities, because I think that's something that's lost. Right? So I have a bunch of, different people that I talk to about just appreciating, the presence of our men, especially our black men. It's like they're endangered species. And I think it's important that we showcase and show some really dope, great, fathers that's in our different communities all across, the world. Because I know Moflo's, he's in a different state. And I appreciate you being here and showing up. But I just want to say hello.
It's an honor to see you out here and you on your cruise. Thank you for tapping in with us.
Thank you for hosting, and thank you for showing up for me, Lady K Day. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, AJ, for being here, showing up. All of you guys, appreciate you.
Well, on that note, I want to bring up this next gentleman, Brother Moflo.
Hey, how you doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. It looks, because when I'm looking at my screen, like it's a lag, so I want to make sure. First of all, thanks for having me. Glad to be here. So I like the conversation. Like, I thought we was gonna get on here and jump into some poems, but you guys dropping some gems, bringing some knowledge to it. So I definitely appreciate that. So I'm an educator as well. I teach business math at Virginia Commonwealth University, and I also taught middle school and high school. So I know the brothers was talking about some of the things they see in education, and when they were saying that, I was thinking to myself, damn, nothing's changed. I see the same exact things, or saw the same exact things when I taught in the high school, middle school. It's a little bit different in college, but seeing those same things. So I'm gonna do a piece, really just focus on my relationship with my father, because the truth of the matter is, everybody doesn't have the rosy story about their fathers, right? Or mothers, but we're talking about fathers right now. So so when I was writing about my father, I just want to just be honest about that relationship and express it in how I perceived it. But I also want to make sure that I say this before I get into the poem, is that there has been resolution to my relationship with my father, right? And I think that's important. I think a lot of times, we go through things and we hold on to it, and it becomes excuse me, I don't know why I keep coughing. And we hold on to this negative energy and not realize how it impacts our lives, how it impacts our decisions and stuff like that. So me and my father, we have a relationship. It's a unique relationship, but we have a relationship, and we've had discussions about the past, and we're at a good place. So I just wanted to make sure I say that before I get into the poem, because sometimes it get, for me, sometimes it gets to me a little bit. But I didn't want it to come off as if it's just a trauma situation, right? I think a lot of times poetry does that. We get into the trauma, but we don't talk about resolutions a lot. So right, so I'm gonna get in this poem. Hopefully I get through it. I don't know why I keep coughing. Hold on, let me get a quick sip of water real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, you're good. Take your time. Take your time. But that is true. And you know, he brought up a good point, because what you had said about I believe it was James that you said that you notice, and the co-piece, we're noticing when there's not a positive male figure present, and you can see the reaction to authority. And that again touches on like those nerves being touched, those that we act out like that. And that's the same conversation about the women. We react in certain ways because of where we're hurting. So you good, Mofos?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I
The
started.
devil's trying to stop your voice is what's happening. You don't want, but
all right, we're gonna get into it. The first time that I hugged my father was at my high school graduation. I mean, I was damn near a man. The little boy in me wanted to hold on so desperately, despite awkwardly feeling like I was holding on to a stranger, which was ironic because I was always known as my father's doppelganger. I mean, when my mother saw me, I couldn't help but see a hint of disdain in the tint of her eyes. Her pain saw him. And that's why whenever I would hear shit like, look at you just a chip off the old block, ain't you? That shit will always leave a chip on my shoulder. I mean, not that I didn't like him. I just didn't want to be like him. The reflection of a man cast in mirrors that have been shattered by a rolling stone. So clearly he couldn't see himself clear enough to recognize God within himself. So how can I expect him to see me? Perhaps in that shattered glass, he saw me as his reckoning without realizing that I was his blessing, his second chance to become a better man. I'll never know. Just like I never knew if my love for him and his love for me was in sync, or if it had just been rinsed off under a faucet of reality that dripped nothingness into this empty basin. Like, I remember not remembering him, but recall seeing his chess moves heartless, leaving me as a sacrifice piece in this manipulative game that he played to maintain his own peace. My father taught me how to play chess. And I focused on how he was moving so that I wouldn't become him, the type of man that uses queens as pawns. If he would have taken those knights to teach me how to take a L and turn into my best move, or how to move as a black man in these white spaces, I mean, he captured my heart, but took a rain check when it came to teaching me to reign as a king. I had to teach that shit to myself in this game of life, and now I can say proud with my whole chest that I am a king. And I wish I could say that that was because of his presence as opposed to his absence. But I've since learned to appreciate our long distance relationship. Grown as me, still looking forward to his calls. 6-year-old me wondering if that notification sound could possibly be him. And then 17-year-old me chimes in to talk us off the ledge and back behind this flood wall that we built to protect us from a wave of expectations that I've seen in my mother's face so many times. The river that she cried, the same river where I learned to either sink or swim. Down in the deep end of rejection, I inhaled and held a deep breath of inflated emotions to keep my head above water and dog paddling until I became sure of myself. I tried to forget, but the receding floods just left this watermark stain across my heart that reminds me how nice it would have been to have had him pick me up and dry me off under the sun, him raising me instead of me being a raisin in the sun like a dream deferred. Perhaps I wouldn't have felt so much like Langston Hughes with the motherfucking attitude. You see, I allowed that chip on my shoulder to grow bolder until it felt as though I was bearing the weight of the world on my shoulders, and at last, I let go and let it roll off by forgiving him. And that's when this chip off the old block became the cornerstone to the building blocks to this skyscraper of a man, but never tall enough to eclipse the light of being the sun. So no shade, Pops. It's all love.
Bruh.
well, there
That
goes that
poem
mic.
was dear to my heart, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hey, Mofo,
Yeah.
we gonna have to talk, man.
Well, I tell you what, man. Especially if you were a Generation Xer, right? That this was almost the norm for most black boys, and you know what I'm saying? Because that's how our fathers were taught to be. So I get a lot of people that say, "Yo, that spoke to me." I'm like, yeah. I mean, up until recently, I mean, that's just what it was, you know.
Bro. We'll talk later. Oh my God. Like, to this day, I don't even like to use his name, you know what I'm saying? even though he likes me to call him Baba Sosu, I don't even like to call him that because it means father in our language. And it's supposed to be an honor to say that, and I can't say it.
Yeah.
So I call him by his first name. And to me, that's disrespectful in a sense, but it is what it is. Man, thank you. You tapped in a nerve, bro. You tapped in a nerve, man. And I saw all the other brothers like, damn. So we're going to mix this up a little bit. So we have more flows on here. So we're going to bring in the lady of the day, the lady that's here to speak from her heart as an Egyptian princess she is. Let's hear it for Egyptian princess.
Hello, everyone. I'm just super honored to be here a second time. What a blessing. Miss Andrea is amazing, and I appreciate her heart and just her passion to connect us all as artists and give us a platform to speak about who we are and just our pains, our also our triumphs. And when she asked me to be on here for Father's Day, I had some mixed feelings. I got to be honest, And the reason why I say that is the last time I was here, I shared a piece in honor of men. And that piece is very dear to my heart that I wrote it. And that piece comes from a place of healing. That piece comes from a want of respecting and honoring men. And that's very important to me. And that took a long time to get there because it didn't come from my relationship with my dad or brother for that matter. And so when I got to that point to feel that way towards someone I really cared about, who actually is no longer in my life, surprisingly enough, but the greater blessing was it wasn't just meant for him. That piece was written to honor every man I know. And I didn't see that then when I first wrote it, but I started to see the echo of everyone that heard it afterwards that would come up to me. Complete strangers would come up to me and say, I've never heard poetry even before. And that piece really resonated with me. Thanks so much. I was at a nail salon and this guy asked me, "Oh, you're a poet?" He overheard my conversation with the nail person. This was months ago. And then all of a sudden he says, "Oh, can you share something with me right now?" And I said, "Well, I'd be happy to," and I shared the piece with him and it blew his, "Could I get a copy of that?" I said, "Yeah, you could buy the book." And so, it was just amazing. It's a complete stranger. He doesn't know me from anything. And just like that. So that's God healing, and that's God using poetry to get out what you need to get out and show that you can love and you can respect and honor men in a way that you never thought possible because you went through so much pain. And instead of sharing a poem right now, I'd actually like to share a little post I made on May 10th of this year. That's 24 years of my dad's passing anniversary. And I wrote this little passage on Instagram, and I posted a couple of pictures of me as a little kid with him. And, that's how I knew my dad. So yeah, I'm going to share that with you. Oh yeah. And I am a poet. Obviously I am also an author, and I will share because I'm going to share the poem later about my father that I wrote. And it's in my first book, My Humble Beginnings. And then I do have a second book and also my third. So I'm very, praise the Lord. He's definitely granted me the ability to write and share my heart, my family, my spirituality, my life. And so, yeah. But what I'd like to share right now is this piece. Rest in peace, Baba. My father was a lot to deal with. Not many fond memories. However, I do my best to reflect on some good. We would watch wrestling, The Wild Wild West, The Bionic Woman, Mission Impossible, the series, The Three Stooges, The $1 Million Man, A-Team. That's probably why I love action, suspense, and drama movies today. Also, my softer side, romance, French films, subtitles, movies come as far from my mama. Anyway, a memory came to me the other day that bothers me to this day. I showed him a report card where I got 5 A's and a C. He said, "Why did you get the C's?" Why? That's what he focused on, is that one C. I never showed him another good grade for any paper, report card, or project after that. I am sad he didn't see me graduate from college. He passed away a month before, being sick with heart failure, extreme diabetes, and other issues. Interesting, I felt his spirit linger in that month despite not being there in the physical sense. I think he waited around to tell me, I'm with you, keep going. I was going through a lot emotionally during my final year in college. I wish he was easier to talk to and was a better father and husband. You can't choose your parents, so remember to choose wisely in the tribe that's around you. And partners deserve to be loved, respected, validated, uplifted, and given your flowers and told, you are amazing.
I love the way
That's
you write.
beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lady Kayla, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. You can bring up the next one.
That's right. Okay. AJ, you gonna spit something for us today on fatherhood? And one of the best fathers in the world.
How you know that? Can you hear me?
Yes.
It is an honor to be sharing space with brothers James, Cold Peace, Elu, Mo Flows. Isn't it a trip how Mo was coughing the whole time, and then when he spit his piece, he didn't cough one time, did he? You understand? You know, you know a teacher and you know an educator when you hear one. And this subject matter is the most important to me because I didn't get the head start of the father with mine. Mine didn't assume his responsibility. And through my years of growing up on 18th Street, uh, growing up in Centinela Park in Inglewood, and then Vernon and Normandy over in South Central, I didn't have male figures. My male figures might have been Ben Caldwell or Minister Farrakhan, Brother Rashid Bahati. I was teaching algebra at 15 years old in the masjid, and I was my father. I was a man child, as my mother would say. And but there were things that she couldn't teach me, and things that she wasn't equipped to teach me. So she never said that I was your mother and father. She just said, I'm your mama. That's it. And she prayed that I would be a contributor to the liberation of our people through either work or service or being a proud Black father and having 4 powerful superheroes of mine to aspire to. Uh, it's been an honor because that's all I wanted to do. When people say, what you want to be when you grow up? And I say, a father. You know, not no fireman, not no policeman, because as a Cold Peace said, we become that when we choose fatherhood. You become the fireman, you become the policeman, you become the pastor, the preacher, and the ass whooper if need be. So the other thing is, we all know that the system is based on us not being there. Social services, welfare based on pushing us all the way out. And I didn't find that out until I left from Portland, Oregon, and took my sons from Portland to LA and came here with the supposed idea that I was just going to come back home to LA, just tear shit up, you know, because I was blowing up so tough in Portland. I'm coming back to LA. I'm going to see a Cold Peace 6 years later from seeing them on Manchester. Look, a Cold Peace. I'm an even colder piece. Look at this. But I was in for a rude awakening, having a wad of cash not being able to measure the cost of living between Portland and LA, and having my 4 sons, uh, we ended up not finding any vacancies because I went back to the hood, Inglewood, to see if I could find a place. Lamert, we know they're not affordable no more. That's a whole different story. So we were homeless 17 months, and I always got the answers. You know what I mean? The cold piece. As a father, you always got the answers. I didn't have one this time, and the embarrassment, the guilt, the shame, as a man, and not being able to have an answer to say, Baba, what's going on, Baba? What we spending the night? We gonna be a Motel 6? Just go to bed, fellas. I come up with a solution, and it became this glorified field trip, and we would go to Las Vegas because Stratosphere was $16 a day, or we come back, go to Motel 6 if I could hustle up a couple of little vouchers and different things. And social services is like, what you doing here? We ain't got no programs for y'all. We only have the programs for the women who are coming from domestic violence, any kind of preconditions. We ain't got shit for y'all. Y'all got to go at it however way you go at it. Sorry. But you could call 211 and we'll have you go ahead and find a spot over at the YMCA, and you can spend the night in there with the different element that you've been trying to keep your children away from. So I said, okay, I might be better suited to just be up in this Ford Expedition. And we went around all the city libraries, all the county libraries, the parks, the beaches, and I homeschooled them outside. And I got that embarrassment, that guilt, and that shame out of there. And then I realized that I was being called upon to speak for those beyond my family. There's people who are unable to express what they're going through, but they out there. Not with 4 sons, some with 7, some with just 1, but I had to remove the ego and this pride in order to recognize that you have a bigger story to tell. And fatherhood, there's nothing greater in the world to me. So being here with all of you is an emotional time, because I got 3 of my 4 in the room being quiet because I know Bob was over here doing this artist connection thing, and the 4th one is coming this weekend. I'll have them all here. He decided to join the military without permission, which he knew he wouldn't have received it from me. But he made a decision as a man, 20 years old. And I said, hey, I can't knock it. You could have been out there in San Bernardino, or Bakersfield, but he let one of them recruiters get in his ear, 7-Eleven, one of them late night snack runs. It jumped up in his ear and pimped him into joining the military. That ain't a powerful message, Fly High. That's a terrible message. Stay away from them pimps up at the 7-Eleven, snatching y'all up. But that's let me get back on the situation. Ain't that right, Cold Piece? You such an excellent brother, man. Seeing you at Sims, phenomenal. I was so impressed seeing you on Manchester, and then to see you just so much more experienced, with so much more wisdom and so many more experiences on you as a father. And it's just a pleasure to see you. And James, all day long, my teacher, James, my teacher, I was taught about James. And I said, man, this brother here, you've been so prominent and present in the community, spoken word community. And I commend you for everything that you do. It's a very tough job to be a teacher, just as much as it is a father. But I love what you're doing. And it's a pleasure to be here with you. Brother Elo, it's like we're gonna figure it out, right? We're gonna connect these dots and figure out where we grew up together, what type of we saw each other somewhere, and we ain't really busy too tough in trying to connect the dots because we establishing this brotherhood that's really strong and consistent, and it's really nice to be here with a brother that shares your sensibility and exchanging ideas. It's a beautiful, healthy thing. Egyptian princess. This is my second time seeing you here, and it's a wonderful thing seeing you and all of your shares about family and love and loyalty and the love of men. We love that. We appreciate that. K-Day, a mama of 4 daughters, so cold, so soulful, and so fresh. You know, I like that you coming through here. I know y'all didn't ask for no comments. You know, I'll just be complimenting and commenting all day long. That's that's my thing. But 1580 K-Day, always cold-blooded, you know. I have a piece that is from a series called Gangsta Odyssey. And it's a poem I was writing per day. I was gonna kill somebody being out there in that car. So I had to use poetry as some form of therapy, literary therapy. And every day I would write something, and my children would say, "Baba, it's 11:40. You got 20 more minutes. Did you write something?" And I said, yeah, I did write something. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read it to y'all. It's called World School. The corner was curriculum. Consciousness connects the suspect and the victim. The wind is recess, fortifies the young and fresh with oxygen in lungs. Swap meets, museums, and mausoleums speak the tongues native to the defiant and creative, native to the brave and cowards, native to those who cower, native to the prominent, potent, and power. We in a world school. Fever pitch never dead. Ears red from the birds and the bees, stomachs queasy into dick and pussy talk. Planks and spider crawls in the park. 3 hours prior to me o'clock. We in the dark. Shedding light, sweating shit so real on foreheads and windshields. Injecting might, muscle, and hustle is how these men build. It's been heavy. Teaching them style. And how many unkin folk really ain't ready, not just for war, but unknown on what the fuck to get ready for. The brothers might not quite be feeling this syllabus, yet I can crystal clearly see the frame strengthen and the ancient comedic telekinetic waves lengthen. With intentional sentiment, they will turn over. The nuts that hang between my loins flip heaven and hell, heads to tails, till all my successes and fails join. To call the council back into order, the struggle continues. But on the supreme chief, the firm belief is this motherfucker's gonna get shorter. Tide is rising. The meek are waiting to inherit. The poor still run on crumb rations because the rich won't share it. Babies are learning the pricelessness of change, witnessing miracles within themselves, spreading that game. They sleep beside a Superman role model in their slumber. A child's wonder, soul, and synopsis throttle, and they are catching it, sifting and simmering. They hear deities' names each time they are called. Kana, Kadase, Kiros, Kumani, Allah, Yahweh, their own heroes embody. Every day they make themselves more godly. No taint, no taunt, no wish, no want. They got the strain already. Y'all see it. Most love it. The other half covet and come with spiteful shit just to be petty. Yet we worship the elements to bless our physicals and fundamentals. One got a vice grip on the door. The icons touched me and told me to bring us four more. The queen I came from was judged and critiqued, begrudged and refreaked into thinking her crown fell off. And to her I supplied the demand, the commandment need only be one, to be well off. And this is the only rule. Thou shalt proudly graduate magna cum laude in the universally renowned World School.
Bruh, man. I mean, we got some Kendrick spirit because damn, that shit is so dope. I could have wrote that one. I would love to wrote something so beautiful, man. Hey, I mean, like, damn. That shit was deep. AJ, yeah, I know you don't like smiling, but nigga, that shit was deep. Oh, man. All right, coming up next to the mic, better known as the man behind the matrix that keep things moving smooth with a tongue that's cold and hard, but he look like a big old grizzly bear, but he nothing but a teddy bear. Give it up for Q, y'all.
I'm not a poet, so I'm not going to try to even attempt to do
Speak your
that,
shit, bro.
because I believe that the gift that you guys have, not only as artists but as caretakers of the word, caretakers of a part of the culture that speaks for, like AJ said, a certain element sometimes. But I will say that when I'm sitting here and I'm in the background, I'm watching, I'm listening, taking everybody's word for what they're saying. And you know, one thing about numbers and statistics is sometimes you can create a number and a statistic that will create a narrative. And one of the narratives for most of us when we were younger were there was no fathers around. Some of us knew our fathers, some of us didn't. Some of us that had fathers, they were there, but they were absent. And I always look back at it is that a lot of times how people grow up, they usually raise their kids different. You know what I mean? And I have a hard time believing those old narratives of what they said that the fathers were absent. And the reason why is because the guys that I grew up with that didn't have fathers or didn't know their fathers, they're all great fathers today. They're all celebrated, no matter what their journey went through. What everybody went their separate ways or whatever. They're all good fathers. I have a slogan that I always love to say is that men move accordingly, and you know, I believe fathers are there now. I believe that we've been conditioned to always say we're not there, we're not there, we're not there, we're not there until we become not there. I believe even to have brothers on a panel sometimes people say, oh, brothers don't, you know, black men don't talk about mental health and they don't talk about their feelings. I believe that's a bunch of bullshit. I'm being straight up with you guys because the guys that I'm cool with, the guys that I don't know, they have those conversations. They may not be conversations for the general public, but the conversations are there. They're being had. Iron sharpens iron. Um, so I believe that one of the biggest things that happened this year with Father's Day for those who celebrate it, we saw the acknowledgement on social media. Like to me, this year was bigger than any year I've ever seen. I don't think that we'll have the commercialization of Mother's Day ever. And to me, as a father and a comrade, I think that's the best thing. I don't want to be acknowledged by the media. That don't mean nothing. Um, men move accordingly, and I believe that we all right. We in a good space. We understand that what's going on. You know what I mean? We're I believe we're very self aware, and sometimes we just gotta just be understand that we are leaders. You know, we see that it's it's a major gender war going on,
Yeah.
and a lot of us realize that we're pushing back to it now. We're pushing back to understanding, like AJ say, those social systems that attacked our families in the 60s, 70s, the new term, that toxic masculinity, that has to be the most weirdest term, because everything that as young men and boys are taught is masculine. That literally is to destroy the male species, the whole term. Now, toxic is something different. Toxic could go to any male or female. So to combine those two is interesting that they say that, because, like the brother said, you'll never hear no term called toxic femininity. But appreciate you guys, appreciate the
Brother,
brothers,
Q.
and understanding, like, who we are, who we are as men.
I thought you said you weren't a poet.
I'm not a poet.
That was just poetry right there. In so many words. That was.
But he's a social engineer though.
It ain't
Yeah,
got to
and
rhyme.
yeah,
It just got to make sense, and that was poetry right there, brother.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. So I ain't gonna be a chauvinist pig about this, but I'm gonna bring a real one up here. Lady K-Day, do your thing, sister.
I'm just enjoying listening, honestly. I'm enjoying the masculinity because we need that. So I'm Kaylee. I wrote this here book right here, Raw, the Trilogy. And from a young age, I got my own father issues. And I don't know where I come from exactly, but my upbringing is all over the place. And I just know, for me as a woman, I was always fascinated with studying people, and especially men, because there's so much more. And I'm also writing a poem about the narrative. I started writing a poem that I was asked to write about Juneteenth. And I just started thinking about all the narratives that are really, they try so hard to push. So like when that song, Black Men Don't Cheat, came out, like some people made fun of it, but it was like, we need to hear more of that, because we need to bring more spotlight to the positive, because it is there. It's not something rare. It's not something that's, oh, you never see that. No, but we're focusing on certain cases. We're focusing on things. And if we're going to change it, how are you going to invite more of the energy you want, but you're focusing on what you don't want to happen? It's not good. The math don't math. So I'm gonna read a little poem, and this poem, sometimes I draw from the influences, the male influences, or the things that I've learned from men in my life, studying that. And I feel like that is part of why people refer to me as a real one, because I'm not just drawing from other women. I take lessons from men as well, because you have so much to offer us. And everyone has a masculine and feminine side. And when we embrace both, is a beautiful union, and we need to empower both sides. So when I was writing this, I was imagining a father, being my own father, and telling, what would I tell myself? Or being a real one, telling myself, guiding myself, and then passing that knowledge along. So it's just some thoughts. It's not really even a poem, but it's called Some Beans and Rice for That Ass. And it's just some life advice. No matter the situation, no matter who you engage with, decide up front what you're willing to give out and what your limits are, and what a reasonable return for your output looks like. The goods exchanged could be money, words, energy, connection, love, favors, joy, time, attention, relief, pleasure, business, understanding, compassion, empathy, RESPECT. Each and every interaction is a transaction. Trust yourself. Know your value unwaveringly. Let no one talk you into unfair negotiations. Take up space. Train up your voice not to shake. Carry yourself impeccably and deal accordingly. Thank you. And I just want y'all to know that we love you. We appreciate y'all. Really, truly love you. And it's big love. Like, you all need to hear that every day. You really need that because you deserve it. And we love you out here. We really do. We appreciate you. We need you. And we need to get used to saying that. We need you. Because I know so many women that I don't need a man. I need a man. I need all of y'all in all. We need you.
K-Day, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
You started off with something that you said something, and I can't remember exactly what you said, and now you kind of reaffirmed the same sentiment when you said you need us, right? I always say that women respect strength. It's like a fine line that you want a man to be. You want him to be so strength, but so gentle with you when you want to be gentle.
Clark Kent and Superman.
Yeah. Can you, an Egyptian princess, explain? And I know this is this show is for us, but could y'all explain that fine line that y'all want us to be?
Facts.
If you don't mind.
You want to start off, Egyptian princess?
Myself.
Unmute your mic.
Yes, unmute. Here we go. I actually wrote a poem called Planted. And I will read that piece because it's really short and it basically talks about what a woman wants. And I think that's what I'm going to start off with. That way I can elaborate from there. So let me just share that piece. Planted. If I could find it fast enough. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. What a woman wants is to be planted in the soil of a man's heart. She wants to be planted in a small pot with holes to breathe and nurtured with water daily, vitamins to help her grow in love with her man. She wants him to share her in the sunlight, showing her off among all the mere flowers in his life. She wants him to protect her during the cold with his warm gazes indoors. She wants to be a plant that grows and grows, planted from pot to pot, until one day the love has fully bloomed and removed from that pot and planted to the ground to live on forever beyond their relationship.
Wow.
So I feel like it's so important that we nurture each other. That's what we're looking for. We want to be nurtured, but so do you. And it's finding that balance and learning each other's love languages, because what somebody's love language, I mean, there's 5, but there's beyond the 5, because we all have our own criteria of what that means and how we define those love languages. So you might have a set of 10 love languages, you might have 3, whatever it is, you need to communicate that and really let that person in to know who you are so that you can receive that and have a healthy relationship. If you never ever say, I need this, how is one supposed to really nurture? And again, I really think nurturing is key. But yes, we do want a man to be strong. We do want him to be Superman. I even have a Superman poem. I will not share it with you today, but the point is I do have a Superman poem because I do want the Superman. Yes, I want him to be Clark Kent, awkward and, sensitive and just kind of out there and whatever. But I do want him to be Superman when it's time to be Superman. Yeah, I need you to be strong for me and help me out when I need your help. That's life, man. But you want that too. You want Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has two sides to her too. We all have different, of course, Batman, Catwoman, I'll let you whatever you want to want. But the point is we want that strength and we want that balance in the relationship. So that's just what I think.
Yes, thank you for that. Right. Show you right. Um, a word, the words that keep popping up to me is want and need. And as a woman, a lot of times we don't know what we want. We know, but learning yourself, taking the time to be really gut wrenching honest with yourself, you'll find what you need. And I was speaking to my mama today because I spoke to someone who somehow, with the strength that they showed me, made me love myself more. And that's what a man gives us. And that's, to me, the definition of strength, where we need that strength. I personally, what I need, I don't always want. I need you to be honest with me. I need you to call me out on my bullshit. I don't want it in that moment. I'm not gonna like it, but I promise you, I will. I might react negatively to it, but I'm gonna retreat and I'm gonna go pond. Even if I say fuck that shit, I'm not gonna listen to you. I promise you, I will be in the car. I will be going to bed, and what you said, it's going to be in my head, and I'm going to go and I'm gonna say, is he right? Am I wrong? And that's another thing I just told my daughter's father the other day about something, a way I handled a conversation. I outright said, I am wrong and you were right. Then let's build on that, because we women, we don't say I was wrong, you were right. We don't say that very often. But in that moment, I said, I need to vocalize because I know this. Maybe the intentions were right, but the way I went about the conversation was wrong. And how would I expect to receive what I'm actually searching for starting off that way? You're not going to do that. So we need to let our ego and our pride and this competitive thing, let it go, because strength is humility. That's real strength. And so what we're looking for in a man is, I need that too though, like, because I will go there, but I want that reciprocity. I want, give me that too. Like, I will be that open with you. So when I think about a man and what I want and need, I need you to be honest with me, because, but I need to be able to trust in that and know it's safe to do that, where you're not doing it in a manipulative way to get something in a, to be for your selfish needs. I gotta trust my man to know that when you calling me out on it, it's for to build me up, to make me better. And I'm putting my precious energy, my precious heart, my love. My love is like the ocean and it's yours, but only if it's a safe place to do that. And then, like they say, when you give a woman what she needs, she'll top it. But I also believe men are like that too. There's a whole art and science into what it means to really love a man in a real way. And when they receive that, that strength will come out and they will go hard for you. But they need to know that they're appreciated and valued, and that you look at them as a pillar. So that strength also goes into that you are a pillar I can lean on, and you're teaching me how to also lean on myself. You're my example. I'm following your lead, and then how they gonna stop both of us? You know what I mean? Like,
can I give you an answer to that? Just a little answer, if you don't mind. Coming from a man's perspective, I ain't gonna say all men, but most men. And if y'all disagree, brothers, y'all chime in and raise your hand. I'm gonna give you 3 things. Only thing men really want, real men want: respect. We want you to make love to us, and we want you to listen to us. That's it, that's all. Anybody disagree?
I'll add one. Y'all want to be fed good, but that's it right there. Listen to us. That's so important, and we need that. Not think about what I'm gonna say while you're talking in response to you, or think about how does this look on me, what you're saying, what make it about me. Listen to you for real. And when you have a real man, you want to listen to him talk all day. You want to know everything about his mind, his soul, his experiences. if you don't feel that way about your man, then you need to get out of there, because he needs someone who actually craves what is in his entire being. You need that. He needs to be needed. Listens. Thank you for saying that. I'm stopped, but
I think I just want to add, I definitely agree with Elu 1,000%. I'll throw in that peace of mind. That's like it entails so much. But one thing I want to add, K-Day, is that I think that the male and female species, us in particular, right, that are like in the prime of the culture, and like I always say to AJ, and we always talk about that social engineering thing, that not only I think sometimes we are looking at the relationship aspect instead of just the friendship aspect as well. And how a lot of females will say nowadays, I don't feel protected. Like they go out and a guy may be interested in them, and they're some females may say they're afraid to say no because of the response that a male may give them. And that's something that I think that we all want to remove out of our society, that being able to accept no. I know for me, and I'll be a little bit really open about something. When you get rid of those insecurities that you may have going on with relationships, it allowed me to be a better friend to women, like a real friend, not trying to smash, none of that stuff. I'm talking about a genuine friend where I could have that conversation, and it could probably get very intense. And it for some people it may get to a point where they may feel uncomfortable with the conversation, like, oh, are we crossing the line? No, it's just a conversation on how we're building to learn the different species. And I think that being able to understand your own insecurities and being like totally free to let go, you could have a conversation and really have a genuine relationship with somebody that you and her, or him and her, whatever, ain't thinking about sleeping with each other. And I think those, once you get rid of those insecurities, definitely, I can definitely speak for me. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit on what you learn about women. And if it's the reverse, sky's the limit on what women can learn about men.
Brother, you hitting it on the nose. Sometimes we feel a little smothered sometimes. Sometimes in the beginning, when we first figuring out who we are, we're shy. And you women are the pot of gold. So we're trying to hunt and try to talk to you and trying to figure you out. But y'all give us the cold shoulder. Y'all break us down. Y'all humiliate us. Y'all make us feel less. Y'all talk to us just to get to our friend. All kinds of little games you play. And I ain't gonna say all women, but some women, they want to be put on a pedestal, but at the same time, they don't want to lift their man on that pedestal. And so one thing I heard this brother I want to bring up, Brother James, he did a poem at one of the events. And when he did this poem, all the ladies was in there wooing and ooh and ah, yeah. But at the same time, they seen him as untouchable. So when a man finally raises himself up as bootstraps and dust himself off and find out who he really is as a man, you women want to break down his integrity because you can't get him. You can't get him. And that right there is when society, and as a lot of you jump on the bandwagon, society tries to figure out, if I can't have him, it's crazy. But I want to bring up Brother James because I know you get it all the time, bro. Your swag just shows it. And you're such a proper, well-groomed, you take care of yourself, and you use your words wisely. You teach, you think before you talk. Everything about you is like, wouldn't you say, the upper echelon of a gentleman? that is my boy right here, James.
Thank you, Elu, for those kind words. Yeah, I have just been enjoying immensely the conversation going on here. You know, from the start with Cold Piece all the way down to the Moflos, AJ, Q. So much realness in here, and appreciate, you know, K Day and Egyptian Princess, your thoughts on this stuff as well. And we got in a little bit into relationships and that dynamic there. But I think it's important for us to have like these real conversations. I know a lot of times we see on podcasts, you know, men or women podcasts, and they're just, you know, going hard on the other gender and you know, saying some extreme things and extreme points of views. You know, maybe it's for ratings or maybe they really believe that. But we need each other. We balance each other out. And so, you know, the battle of sexes, I'm not really one that's with it. Like I want us to love each other and to, you know, do awesome things together. And so, you know, I appreciate all the women friends that have educated me to help me be the person I am. But also, I grew up with a lot of what I call my uncles, but really my older brother, his friends, and learning from them, and you know, them educating me on you know, what real life is like. So I want to jump into a poem. This poem, I put a call out on like Instagram, and I was like, what should I write about? And so people shot me different things, write about this, write about that. It's like a year ago. And a friend of mine shot me. He was like, write about baby mamas. And I was like, no. I'm like, you know. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know, what story is there? What is the relationship and the perspective of a man that's having the experience that isn't positive as they go through court systems or as they, you know, fight for custody and different things. And so I wrote this piece in response. It's a abecedarian, so each line starts with a letter of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, all the way down to Z. It's titled Torture Rack Tearing. Attitude is all she gives me now. Once she gave me a boy with my face and her eyes, painted with golden skin, child of love, bundle of blessings. I swore to be the best dad ever, though mine was not around to teach me how. Everything was cheerful till it wasn't. When the fighting starts, we all lose something, usually ourselves. No one told me growing apart is a torture rack tearing. See how love shapeshifts into hate, joy into tears, exploding rage, piercing shrapnel of ill intent. I never imagined how easy a person can switch up on me just because they think saving myself is killing them. Kindness gets chiseled down into a bitter slurry. Learned my lesson fast, the stench of contempt, scowl of resentment, more money, give, 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 pay up or get locked up. Never buys enough time with my seed though. Options become tyrannical once the court is involved. Parents turned into arms race. Homes become battlefields, leaves me question how we got here and where affection hobbled off to die. Rewind to the beginning. There were warning signs all over. See, I gave her the keys to my vulnerability. She turned it into a knife. The taste of sour lemons written all over her face, untangled the knot, but still tethered to the fruit it planted. Violence exists in chainsaw speech separating heart from chest. Withholding child is like withholding breath. They know exactly where to dig the scalpel in so it hurts you the most. Yesterday's fairy tale becomes today's horror story, a zombie apocalypse, and your bloodline is their prize. That's that piece.
Bro, I was listening for the ABs. I was like, God.
Yeah, we got to read that one. We got to see the letters as
yes.
you got it.
Yeah.
To fully digest it. Thank you.
That was dope. That was apocalyptic.
Thank you.
All right. So we're gonna bring up to the mic this brother right here. I love your style. I don't know what state you from. They said you're out of state, Mo.
Oh, I'm originally from Philadelphia, but right now I'm in Virginia. Well, I say right now I'm in Virginia. I've actually been in Virginia now for about 15 years, but I grew up in Philadelphia though.
Okay. All right. And I can tell you got a little Southern roots in you somewhere in there. So your style and your the flavor of your flow, it shows. It's different from the rest. So I greatly, it's like a breath of fresh air to hear you speak. So
I appreciate that.
So I'm gonna give the mic to you. I know you got a lot of fatherhood experience and wisdom, right?
Yeah, I do. I have a daughter myself. And I don't have, what I don't have though is I don't have a lot of poems specifically about fathers. Which now listen to everybody speak. I'm like, why don't I have more poems about fathers, right? But there is one point that Q brought up, and he's talking about toxic masculinity. And it's funny, like I've literally yesterday started writing this poem about that very topic. So that kind of leads me into one of the pieces that I want to do. And then also the other part too is when I think about my daughter as well, and not just my daughter, but just all the women in my life and what they mean to me, because women play a very big role in who we become as men. It's not just what our fathers do, it's what our mothers do as well. And I know this is a Father's Day special, but I still think this poem is relevant as like I said, it touches on how the women in my life have touched me and helped raise me. So I'm gonna do that poem. It's actually one of the first poems that I ever performed. It's a really old poem. I think I'm good though. It's been a while since I said it, but I should be good. If not, I'll get through it. We'll get through it. All right, so it's called Black Woman. Strong woman, Black woman, understandably misunderstood woman. You've been called out your name, but you've always showed love, woman, and I love you, woman. Will always call you my own woman. You my air woman, my breath of life woman. I inhale you when I'm feeling down so I can get high. Rise above this cold world and let it pass me by. I inhale you when shit get hard. See your high, easy me mind, woman. Your breath is the wind beneath my wings that carries me to higher elevations. Molding my mind and filling me with inspirations. Molding me with aspirations. And I may be disguised with his reflection, but it's the exhale of your oxygen that brought about this creation. You my air woman, my breath of life woman. I inhale you, become reminiscent of time spent being in your presence. When hard-headedness made me a victim of ill punishment, and yet still the beholder of your comfortness. And many days I find myself looking forward to yesterday like it was tomorrow. So I'm going to inhale you deep today before I find myself exhaling you in sorrow. Strong woman, Black woman, understand, be misunderstood woman. I would never call you out your name. I just want to show you this love, woman, and you're my feature presentation, woman. My flesh, my blood, woman. When I look into your eyes, I see all that I am. Mesmerized by the past that made me a man. Hypnotized by the presence of this fine little woman. And mystified by the future of being the hand that rocked the cradle, the hand that feeds you. The hand that'll be protected, yet and still the hand that needs you. You got my eyes, her smile. their attitude, but you're still your own woman. You're going to grow to be a strong woman. Black woman. Understand, be misunderstood, woman. Don't let them call you out your name. Make sure they show you this love, woman, because I know the day come when independence won't be enough to, where independence won't need the dependence of my hands. But I'll be comforted from the fact of knowing that my love can't be outdone by any man. You'll always be part of me, woman. My Achilles, when without you I lose this race. You help me keep my stride. My motivation, woman. You give me the one to go on. You give me my drive. Funny how such a little woman could love so enormously. Funny how raising you then flip the script and simultaneously indulge in raising me. And you, well, you're my heart, woman. I can feel you before within your reach. And I can hear you before I begin to speak. And I can see you when my eyes are closed. I mean, even underwater, I can smell the scent of your rose. You're the pulse rolling through my beating veins. Inject me to keep me from going insane. I'm saying you're my drug, woman. You're good for my health. I must be addicted because for a high of you, I sell you to myself. I just want to love you, woman. While smoking this here L, woman, so we could take this shit to a higher elevation, woman. Let's walk around the moon like the stars that we are and create our own constellation, woman. You like my fire, woman. Let's melt and pour like hot wax and mold ourselves in the mountains to be our highest selves and reach the climax. Together we intertwine like the locks of Samson had. That means the longer we're together, the stronger our love. And I swear if forever is where you want to go, then I'm going to take you there. God must have put his finger in the water when he poured life in you, woman. You just too damn fine, woman, like that age fine wine, woman. I'd be less of a man not to acknowledge your presence, even less of a man to ignore such an essence. How could I call myself a man if all my women were gone? I mean, every night I get down on my knees. I thank God for giving me these strong women, black women. Understand, be misunderstood, woman. I would never call you out your name. I just want to show you this love, woman.
Damn, boy. My brother. Thank you. That was definitely needed. I'm a father of 2 daughters. So when I hear that, I understand where you're coming from, because we think of our moms, we think of our wives, and then we think of our daughters.
Correct.
And that has so much, oh my God, that's so much flavor. I'm really loving this. And I think I got to thank Andrea over and over for letting me be a part of this, because without sisters like her, where would men like us be?
Yeah, exactly.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta give her big ups, baby, because dang, and to hear 2 people on here say Baba, and I'm thinking I'm speaking a language I wouldn't understand, and you understand it to the epitome, and I'm enjoying this, and so I want to keep this energy flowing. I want to keep it going, and I want to pass it to the Egyptian princess.
I would like to share the poem that I wrote a year after my dad passed away. And it is called Father. And in my humble beginnings first book, A Burgundy Rose, I say humble beginnings because it was published through a high school. And it was a class editing class. So they bound the book for me, gave me 112 copies, and like I said, humble beginnings, and it's no longer in print, but it's a special book for me. February 22nd, 2000. Ever stop to look at someone aging, to see the face transform from young to old, the hair from thick to thin, the hands from strong to weak, the skin from firm to movable? Eyes once so open became so closed that tell hundreds of stories. I didn't stop to see my father age in enough time. I only saw him old. For it is true, I came in this world when he was 45, to be exact. I wish I had the chance to go back in time, but I can only go through the pictures and look at him maybe for the first time, without interruption, wishing to speak to him during that day of the picture taken. A dream that could never be fulfilled while on earth. Yet there will be a chance in heaven. Thank you.
Wow.
And I just want to touch on what MoFlo said earlier about, we don't talk about the healing part. We don't talk about that because we get our poems out and sometimes we're just raging and, we got all these emotions going on. But I praise God that in the last 2 months before he passed away, we made peace. And that is crucial. And I encourage people, please make your peace with whomever, father, mother, or anybody in this world that you feel any feelings towards, because you don't want any guilt. You don't want to have those feelings that are unresolved. Work through them however you need to get your closure, because that's for you. It's not about the other person, it's about you being okay with yourself. And also to heal, to get into your relationships without harm. So there was a lot going on there in that relationship. And I could say even in my brother and I, with all the things that we've gone through, that relationship has gotten better. And again, I have to say God works in mysterious ways. And in the poetry community, he's truly, truly blessed me with a lot of artist brothers that I look up to. Mr. Loving Words is one of them. I know him personally, phenomenal brother. I have seen him grow as a poet, and the things that I've seen from the beginning to now is just phenomenal. So I'm excited for him. And Cold Peace too, same thing. I've seen that brother over the years, how much he continues to grow and who he is. These poets have been pillars that I've seen in my community. So, and I'm so honored to just meet you as a new community to me. I mean, of course, I did see AJ last time, but I'm still getting to know him. So, yeah, I'm excited because God continues to show me in my artist community that healing. There's so much healing you can just gain from those conversations that you can have, like you said, just a one-on-one conversation in an open mic that is mind-blowing, that you connect with someone, and it has got nothing to do with any form of I'm attracted to you and I want something to happen. None whatsoever. Just actual, like, you connect with the soul. Your poem that person spit on the mic was just like life changing, and I needed to hear that. And you want to just give that person props, like, you wrote that, I appreciate you, and you hit a nerve in my life. I needed to hear that. So yes, poetry and art is such a healing, um, great community in my world. And being able to write and learn from so many amazing brothers and watch them be amazing fathers, all that has been also a blessing, because that's what I'm saying as far as the healing process. I was able to write a piece. If you would have told me about that piece 10, 15 years ago, you're going to write this piece about men, I would have been like, are you sure about that? Because, I had my feelings. I was angry, or I was hurt. I was betrayed, whatever. We get into our feelings, but God can move and he can make you heal and forgive, and you forgive yourself and you forgive the person, and then you can love again and have more love. So happy Father's Day, definitely, to all the fathers here. And even if you're not an actual father, but you still make a contribution to some kid's life somewhere over the course of your life. So definitely kudos to you, and you don't get the props that you deserve. And I just want to say that I appreciate you, and I know that definitely Lady K Day here for sure. We appreciate you as women, and I'm privileged to be here with you. So I'm just thankful for that opportunity tonight to be here to celebrate you.
So, Lady K, we need to definitely hear some more sweet poetry from you, and then bring up Brother AJ, if you don't mind.
Not at all. Not at all. These words, she said, heal. And that trickled down to me thinking about honor. We honor you. You deserve honor. And then, I was trying to figure out which poem should I spit. And I saw Hustle and Renovate, and I'm like, and it was on page 111. And I'm like, okay, all right, Lord. I don't have a lot of poetry too many about fatherhood or fathers or parenthood, because I think that's the deepest, most vulnerable part of my soul. And I'm barely opening that part up of me. So that's the next book. But this one is just Hustle and Renovate. Rebuilding an inner house takes vision, diligence, guts, gumption. pain and patience. It requires fire. One must possess a true blue tested conviction in the reality of miracles. Countless rough drafts of cerulean tinted blueprints and a muddy, bloody pair of steel toe boots. The work is a worthy investment. It is not simply fighting to uncover great bones. It's resurrecting a world wonder. Future generations will marvel at its evolutions and birth innovative societies based on its legacy. Children's children's children will stand mystified, dazed at how it's still standing. Archaeologists will study its many Archaeologists will study its many destructions throughout the ages and draw inspiration from its reconstructive phases. And we building out here. We building each other up. We are building ourselves up, and that overflows. It creates these ripples that create tidal waves. And if we can just really be honest with ourselves and with each other and come from this energy of love more than any other energy, love, it will change the world. It will change the narrative. It will change our families. It'll change our children's children, because we were brave enough to do that. And we got to keep it going. We have to support each other. Thank you. Where we at? Where we at?
I wanted you to bring up Brother AJ, but that's okay. I got you, sis. I got you. Before I bring up AJ, I just want to make sure if you're out in the LA area and you are free to come and have a good time, I want to make sure I invite y'all out on the 6th of June, the 28th. We're going to be joining a lady celebrating her birthday as well as her book release. And we're going to be eating, dancing, having a good time, socializing, listening to some good poetry. And it don't get no better than that, y'all. So I just want to make sure y'all all come out and have a good time with us that day. And if you haven't got the invite, shame on you. But if you have, make sure you tap in and let her know you RSVP that you're coming. I ain't got to say no names. Y'all already know who I'm talking about. The hostess with the mostest. So, passing the mic to my brother from another mother, Brother AJ.
Wow. That's right. You said Mo Flows had a southern flavor. He looked like he came directly from Philly to me, because one of my favorite lyricists is Black Thought. And when he started flowing, yeah, that hit you on. That was a light bulb moment, huh? Yeah, but he's a cold brother. He's real cold. I thought directly Black Thought, Beanie Siegel, Freeway, just that Philly flow. About fathers, I will mention this. I want to share this with everyone before we close out. My father reached out to me. He had fallen out of his bed and dislocated his hip and was in the hospital. And he knows for sure that for the years that I've been alive, there's been a select few days that we've spent time together, and the one saving grace about him was that he had a loving family. He had 9 siblings. And Gramsci and Papa were married for 67 years in total. So when I was born, they Kunta Kinte'd me over there to 18th Street, and I was born and raised by the village. And I didn't really necessarily long or want for a father when I had a village. I was at the aunties, at the uncles, and AJ coming, we making tacos today. And they raised me to the utmost. And it got to a point where last year my father called me. He said, "Hey, what's going on, son? I dislocated my hip. I'm in the hospital right now, the VA hospital. I just want to let you know that." It was dead silence, just like this. Fuck, he's asking me, what's he telling me for? Then I realized that all the family and the OC over in Paris, Lancaster, family all over, they're spending time having Thanksgiving. This is the worst case scenario to break your hip on Thanksgiving Day. So it ended up being that, just as I spoke before about the homelessness and getting out of your ego, your pride, and you always got the answers. How the hell did I end up here? I realized that I was called upon to make a decision to go and look after him. My mother's not here. That is my father. I need to go over there because no one else would. Would I go if everyone was there? I don't know. I never did find out because I went there. And I sat there and it seemed as if my entire lifetime with him was covered in this one day. And he had so many stories of fighting, constantly fighting. He had these fight stories that he took pride in telling everybody, yeah, so I'm whooped this motherfucker's ass. And all the stories ended the same way. So, I jammed him up, fucked him up. And I thought, how many of these stories is he going to give me to where he ends up telling a story about my mother or something that's too close for comfort that reminds me of the stories that my mother kept from me as a man. And it was a consistent bibliography or versography of fights all the time. And I thought maybe it was best that I didn't live with him. Maybe it was best that there are some people out here that deliver and are 50% responsible that may not be qualified, capable, or able to father. So they have the physical part down, but the psychological and the emotional and the directive, supportive, engaging component of fatherhood, maybe everybody is not able to be there. So that story is something that I held because I was there. He was over the moon. He enjoyed it. So yeah, this is my son. He's a filmmaker, man. You're gonna see him on TV. You're gonna see him on everything. Yeah, that's my son. He over here to take care of me, watch me, take care. Hey, give me my medication. You taking too motherfucking long. Okay, give me my medication. Don't let my son get on your ass. And it was a trip that he just had taken liberty to assume that I was his guardian, that I was his protector, that I was just gonna be, showing out for him with a new fight story. Yeah, AJ, he fucked him up. No, that's not gonna be me. I'm back up out of that situation. I ain't coming to back, but I realized that I did have regard, and I didn't come to terms with being upset or anything. I was too busy being a father, loving my children, being happy about the position and the responsibility that I assumed. And so that's the story I wanted to share with y'all. That's what happened for Thanksgiving And because I'm not a holiday celebrator, I said, hey, I'll go there, visit him, and went through the whole fight stories. And, he got his medication. It was a whole big situation. I did go out there. I made a scene to make him happy, to add to his stories. I knew as soon as you got up there, motherfucker had to do something. So it was cool. But I didn't talk to him after that. I just felt like if anything happens, we had that time together. And I felt like that was some level of closure for me to not hold the grudge. I'm not at liberty or at the kind of power to hold a grudge for someone who's 50% responsible for creating me.
Man, that's a beautiful story, man.
Yeah, yeah. So this piece, this was one of those days where my eldest son, who was about 15 at the time, he would sit in the driver's seat when we'd be over at the park. And I said, hey man, I'm gonna need you not to bump we didn't have no power lights, nothing like that. This was a hoopty, an old ass truck. Elu, you know how it is, where you turn on the light, there's a little knob where you turn the lights on. I said, I'm gonna need you not to elbow the switch, because if you turn those dim ass lights on, it's gonna burn the battery out. So I kept telling him we always had to charge it up, and he ended up elbowing it. I don't know if it was on purpose or accidental or anything, but the car was dead. And I was thinking, you cutting into my poem per day situation, because now we got a dead battery. We're not able to roll the windows up. And this is over at Woodley Park, Sepulveda Basin. So around 10 o'clock, they have the lawnmower. I mean the lawn system, the sprinklers. And the sprinklers would shoot right into the damn car. And it was my son's responsibility. And I said, okay, I'm gonna have to turn on my son. So I said, we're gonna get your jacket, and we're gonna use your jacket to block the water, and you're gonna get outside. I shouldn't tell nobody this story because I'm supposed to be a loving, kind father.
You know you're wrong, right?
Hey, look, and this is fucking up everything for Egyptian princess, because Egyptian princess, she's just trying to get to know me. So she's like, oh shit, I thought he was cool until he told this motherfucking story. So here we go. You gonna hate this, Egyptian princess. So I have my old son who's in the living room right now. I had him stand outside while the sprinklers were going on. And I said, I want you to remember this time, because I told you multiple times, watch what you're doing with the elbow and all that shit. It's your fault now. You done already fucked it up multiple times. So now I think you did it on purpose. And you're going to have to pay for this. I know, James. I know it's bad, man. I know James just looked like, man, you didn't have to go to that extreme, brother. I saw it in your face, man. I was looking over. I just said, let me see if this is being approved by James Coates. And he was looking like, no, this is fucked up. No, keep the microphone muted. No, you ain't gonna try to clarify. No, leave that alone. All right. Egyptian princess is real mad with me right now. I'm sorry, Egyptian princess. You just don't have no kind of look of approval right now. You just like, he was gonna be my friend. Second time I met him. Third time, this is it. If he don't show up, I ain't gonna lose no sleep. All right, so this piece here, it's called Stratosphere. I used to listen to this producer named Odyssey. He used to make these beautiful beats. So I was listening to this as I wrote it. I'm bumping Odyssey in auditory, composing theater in ear, and I, as I am and as I are, rare and raw in and of here, I'm unable to under my over, or give me something or someone to fear. My mental won't allow. All I can do in my now was perfect a more flawless style. Goose those bumps harder the second I start to see them smile. Struggle is none. Freedom continues, and in the venues I run. Own whenever I roam. Poem whenever I'm home. For never need not care, Baba, stay there. On the life we love to share, and in those mistakes we let this greatness repair. My ears don't pop as I'm bursting in air. Fingertips tap wings from the heights I bear. I already stripped the evil of ego, so buck naked I'm bare. Entitled and vital to verse everywhere is my lair. No box with four corners to track. It's less bag in the pack. In the trap for cheese, running with a dragon, a horse, pig, and an ox riding shotgun with a rat. I portray the general to play the part in the art of their back. In our peace, I teach them to war well. Be the best big brother they can be. And in this animal farm, unlike the tale told from Orwell, we fear nada. In the Atmos or strata. The reason is in the privilege to prosper as a proud Black father.
You are cold. Cold with it, brother. The way you just put that down, I'm thinking of Animal Farm and all the books that I read as a kid.
Right.
The stacking of the animals and telling of the story of your son, you fuse it well. Thank you, man. Thank you. Oh, God. Well, we're going to end it on that, but don't go nowhere. I want everybody to stay on. I think we have a little special guest. She might come back.
Yeah, Egyptian Princess gonna read me the riot act in the backstage. She said, "Oh my goodness, that was just a horrible story." Right.
One of these teachers gonna get you.
They're gonna get it. That's right. That's right.
I want to thank you all for joining me tonight and letting me be a part of this. It's phenomenal. And Q, man, big up. This is an honor. Because Q don't get on here. If y'all don't know, if y'all watch it,
right.
Thank you, bro. I asked you if you join. I thank you. And lady, hey, come on, K. Thank you for being the hostess with the mostest and help your brother out.
Excuse me, I don't want to interrupt you, brother, but I ain't heard nothing from you, and I'm just saying that maybe I missed something.
You know what? As a matter of fact.
Well, I used to do some poetry, but tonight I was supposed to be the host, and I wanted
No. I was supposed to be the co-host, so I ended up doing two pieces. You got to do at least one piece. Don't be trying to finger point out of the way of it. You need to go and do a piece, man.
So everybody's doing it on fatherhood. I'm not going to go there. What I am going to go is the true meaning, what it feels like to be a father. Okay, and so I'm gonna just do something real quick. Waking up in the morning is a blessing, that's true. But seeing your eyes when you look at me, sometimes just put a little toothpaste on my brush. Sometimes put some syrup on my pancakes. Sometimes it's like makes me slow down and wish I could just rewind the hands of time and make it do it all over again. See, just to smell your breath, your hair, even the stink of your diaper, sometimes I just dare to think anything else or anything less, but nothing but the best for you, my little one. Being your father is an honor. Being the man in your life that you look up to, that raises you high in the air and throw you on my shoulders and lift you up by your head and lift you up by your feet and love and kiss on your toes and just rubbing on your nose. I love every part of you as you are part of me. Nia. So on that note,
thank you.
I'm going to let y'all go. I want to thank everybody that joined us in the back room, that joined us in the front. And I want to thank you all that came out, and we're going to talk some more on the back end. Thank you. Y'all have a nice one. I see y'all at Lady A. Lee's event coming up. All right? Peace.
Good night.
What I love about Erica is that she's so brave and she